What is ARP poisoning? ARP spoofing with example. What is ARP spoofing? ARP spoofing is a type of cyber attack that can be used to gain unauthorized access to a network. It works by poisoning the ARP address resolution protocol cache of a victim's computer, which allows the attacker to intercept all traffic between the victim and the rest of the network. How ARP spoofing works. Understanding ARP protocol. ARP is a protocol used to map IP addresses to MAC media access control addresses. When a device wants to communicate with another device on a local network, it needs to know the MAC address corresponding to the target device's IP address, ARP cache. The ARP cache is a table that stores the MAC addresses and IP addresses of devices on a local network. This cache allows devices to quickly resolve IP addresses to MAC addresses without having to send ARP requests repeatedly. Mechanics of ARP spoofing. Poisoning the ARP cache. ARP spoofing works by sending falsified ARP messages to the ARP cache of target devices. These fake messages associate the attacker's MAC address with the IP address of another legitimate device on the network. Interception of traffic. Once the ARP cache is poisoned, the victim device sends all its network traffic intended for the legitimate IP address to the attacker's MAC address. This allows the attacker to intercept, modify, or even halt the traffic. Example of ARP spoofing. 1. Initial state. A victim computer victim PC is communicating with the network gateway router using their respective IP and MAC addresses. 2. Attack initiation. The attacker sends a spoofed ARP message to the victim PC, falsely associating the attacker's MAC address with the IP address of the router. 3. ARP cache poisoned. The victim PC updates its ARP cache with this incorrect information. 4. Traffic interception. Now, any traffic from the victim PC intended for the router is sent to the attacker's device instead. The attacker can then forward the traffic to the actual router, allowing the communication to continue while the attacker monitors or alters the data. How to detect ARP spoofing. Detecting ARP spoofing involves monitoring your network for suspicious activity. Here are a few methods. Check the ARP cache. Regularly inspect the ARP cache of your devices for suspicious entries. Look for IP addresses that are associated with multiple MAC addresses or for any unfamiliar MAC addresses. Command. On Windows, use ARP to view the ARP cache. Network monitoring tools. Use tools like Wireshark to analyze network traffic. Wireshark can help detect duplicate IP addresses and other anomalies in ARP messages. Wireshark filters. Use filters such as ARP.duplicate-address frame or ARP.duplicate-address detected to identify potential spoofing attempts. ARP spoofing detection software. There are dedicated tools, like ARPWatch, that monitor Ethernet activity and log IP MAC pairings, alerting you to suspicious changes. How to protect against ARP spoofing. There are several measures you can take to protect your network from ARP spoofing. Strong Wi-Fi passwords. Use strong, unique passwords for your Wi-Fi network to prevent unauthorized access. MAC address filtering. Enable MAC address filtering on your router to allow only specific devices to connect to your network. This adds an extra layer of security by controlling which devices can join the network. Static ARP entries. Configure static ARP entries for critical devices on your network. This means manually mapping IP addresses to MAC addresses, which prevents dynamic changes and potential spoofing. Command. On Windows, use ARPS. IP address greater than MAC address to add a static ARP entry. Network segmentation. Divide your network into segments using VLANs virtual local area networks to limit the spread of ARP spoofing attacks. Secure protocols. Implement secure communication protocols such as HTTPS, SSH, and VPNs to encrypt data, making it harder for attackers to intercept and read the traffic. Conclusion. ARP spoofing is a serious security threat that can lead to unauthorized access and data interception on your network. By understanding how ARP spoofing works, learning how to detect it, and implementing protective measures, you can significantly reduce the risk of such attacks. Regular monitoring and maintaining good network security practices are essential in safeguarding your network from ARP spoofing.